Tell me how you felt once we came face to face, as he winks pretty obviously towards each of them. They talk a little bit about their feelings of fear that they had been caught, of guilt as they started to understand a little bit more. And then he asks them a few more questions about about specific things to remember. The one describes the maroon color of Yesulga's robe and more threads out from Yesulga's forehead to the audience, as you could swear that the area that they were in seemed to tint just a little bit more red. More questions, especially to the younger one, how he felt when he was ready to fight, as he clenches his fists together and starts to bounce around a little bit. More threads out to the audience, and each of the audience members feels just a little bit more energized. All the while, each of these sensations is building on one another, so they are still feeling the effects of the swarm of rats all around them, as they're also maybe getting a touch of adrenaline. And then in one instant, Yesulga reaches his hand up to his own forehead, wraps his fist around the group of now hundreds of tiny threads, and simply removes them from his forehead, severing the connection between himself and the audience. There is a very visible and audible sigh from each audience member as the rest of their body relaxes from this barrage of intense senses as a release from Yesulga's magic.
There's a palpable shift in energy in the room as your performance ends, and it's that moment in a theater where that like moment of silence before people start to clap, where they're just like taking it in with their whole hearts, and then suddenly they all start clapping and showering you with praise. With your performance art piece being finished, the crowd sort of starts to wander off in different directions, looking at the other pieces, all the while still chattering like, "Did you feel the rats? Yes, I felt the rats. Did you see the colors? Yes, I saw them. What color did you see? You saw the same color I did, and I was so energized at the end there. I wanted to fight you. You wanted to fight me. No, I mean not literally fight you, but kind of." And they're just like pondering and musing over the experience. Your 4 new artists compatriots kind of look to you, and your fanboy, he goes, "I have never been so fulfilled in my entire life. I could just die right now and be happy." And the other 2 are like, "Thanks for not ratting us out." The 3 of them kind of start to mingle with the crowd, and Cassidy comes up to you and gives you your payment for the performance. And she goes, "Ugh, I know you're always late, but it's absolutely worth the wait."
Well, I do remember at least once where I was on time, but thank you very much for having me, and I feel just as fulfilled as these people by being able to perform myself.
God, you're such an artist.
Well, aren't we all?
Oh my God.
That hurt me. That hurt me.
But Cassidy's like in it. She's like, "Wow, yeah, we really are, aren't we?" And then she, as the crowd starts to leave the gallery and it starts to disperse, she's sort of cleaning things up. The other artists start to take their pieces away. What are you doing while everybody else is like cleaning up their material things?
I am standing directly in the middle of the room, very definitely in the way of some people. I'm just taking in each sense, focusing on each sense individually to try and lock it into my brain.
You definitely feel, people bumping into you, the whoosh of the wind as the door opens and closes. You hear the scraping of metal on the marble floor as people are removing their sculptures or putting them away for the night. And eventually you hear Cassidy say, "All right, Yesulga, it's time for you to pack up for the night." When you open your eyes, you can see that the room is empty. And then you hear a light ringing, almost like a ringing of a bell. And as you look around the room, you can see on the wall, right behind where your stage had been, there's this small purple, almost translucent circle.
Very curious about something that I've never seen before.
Yes, it is not like anything you have ever seen before.
I curiously approach it.
As you walk slowly closer, the circle starts to expand and get bigger. You take a few more steps closer and it gets even bigger, and you take a few more steps closer until you're almost right up against it, and it expands and swells until it's larger than you, and then suddenly it all goes black. And that's where we're going to end our episode. Thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of A Game Called Quest. A Game Called Quest is an actual play audio drama of the tabletop role-playing game Quest, created by T.C. Sodic and the Adventure Guild. This episode was edited and GM'd by me, Rose, and featured Brett as Yesulga. You can find more about both of us and our social media handles in the description box below. Also, in the description box, you can find info about the amazing artists whose music we used for this episode. Each song was used under the Creative Commons license. We're so excited to have you as a part of our community. Please reach out to us using our Instagram or Twitter at Game Called Quest, and feel free to join our community Discord. A Game Called Quest is available for listening on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Overcast. Make sure to leave a review so that we can keep spreading these stories to as many people as possible. Thank you so much for listening to another episode 0 of A Game Called Quest.